She's back and giving less fucks than ever. I know I took a little 2 week hiatus here from the show and didn't give you guys any warning. So, my apologies for panicking some of you. But just as I teach here on the podcast and in all of my programs, is that we have to honor and manage and nurture our physical and mental and spiritual health above all else. Otherwise, we're constantly working against it. And then we end up working so much harder for the money, for the freedom, for the visibility, for the impact, for all the things that we want. And if I don't practice what I teach and preach, that'd make me full of shit. And we're not about that life over here. This is what I call spiral season. If you have been spiraling in the last 10 days and you are feeling like you're alone, you're feeling like your goals are even further away, like you are losing so much time, you're so behind, you've been sidewhacked a few times, unexpected stuff has happened, you're like, this is not how I wanted to start my new year. You are not alone. In fact, I have coined the name of this season, spiral season, because in the 16 years of mentoring, employing, leading, managing, and coaching people, this is literally what happens every single year at this time. And so this episode is divinely timed to right size your brain and get you back on track, calm your nervous system so we can go, baby, go. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. 22 is my favorite number. And if you're listening on the day that this episode came out, it is Jan 22, 122. So what I decided to do to kick off coming back from hiatus, where we're going to get our shit together in a way that is not forcing or pushing, that's done in ways that maybe you've done it before, I've done it before. We are going to change our operating system. And it starts with this episode. And I'm going to give you some other tools that if you are really dead ass about getting out of your cycles and patterns where you seem to always end up in the same place. We get this like temporary amnesia where I guarantee you, if there was a recording of you this time last year and the year before and the year before that, you definitely were in a form of spiral season. And I'm going to explain to you where this comes from. I had a great discussion, live training inside my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership on Friday about this, and everyone was shook if. And the reason this happens psychologically, and yes, my overthinking, overanalyzing brain has really gone in the weeds on it, but it's dead ass accurate, is that we have this high that happens the week before New Year. The dopamine surges, the possibility, the dreaming, the fantasy thinking. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like it all starts with a dream, with a vision. Like that is part of the visualization, the manifestation process, successful mindset. I'm all about this life for you. Okay. And for me, it's wonderful. What happens is that we now end up in the new year. You're probably taking some new actions or your other tendencies of procrastination, of not prioritizing certain things in your life, your habits that keep you from really achieving your money goals, maybe your body goals, etc., your growth goals, they're all mixed up in your favor right now because we can last a little bit of time on self-will, right? You have the dopamine high, the excitement, you're kind of buying into the fantasy. You're on drugs right now, basically, in this stage. It's an internal drugstore. And this is not Tiffany from her ass. This is actual clinical data in over 16 plus years of working with people, 150,000 people worldwide from all different ages, demographics, backgrounds, traumas, businesses, you name it. And you start doing the thing. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe you are posting regularly. Maybe you are mapping out your podcast. Maybe you even took action and joined my posse. Maybe you are taking my money course, which you should be, make more work less. And right now, by the way, I'm giving the first 50 people, because you guys need to get your shit together, $200 off from this money course. This is separated into 3 sections. If you are watching right now on ProjectME TV on YouTube, what up, my YouTubers? You can see one of the elements in the course, which is a 67 plus page workbook. Okay. And it's divided into 3 sections. And you get 5 video training modules with me. And then you're going to follow along with those in this workbook that is designed to transform your money story in 7 days or less. This is your starting point. In addition to this episode, we get to press reset and refresh at any time, and you need to regroup, guaranteed. I don't know anyone right now that doesn't need a little regroup, and that's okay. This does not mean we spiral off into Never Neverland, but you got to do this. You can swipe up. The link is in the show notes. It's in the description in YouTube, or you can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make more work less. So first 50 people get $200 off this. I mean, I need you to hear this. And because I know some of you are like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to actually do it. I've bought other courses and not done it. This is not a normal course. If you really want to see the hundreds and hundreds of people who have taken this when this has only been out for 2 months now, I have a highlight section on my Instagram, and these are screenshots. I mean, I share them all the time. This is not a normal thing. This is many, many, many years in the making. I've just refined it and simplified it so you can binge it. I've cut out all the other stuff that's kind of like nice to haves, like add-ons, so that you can actually complete it and get to the point. So listen to what's being said here. Daniela says, I love the workbook. I feel like I have to do it again now that I'm pivoting and really stepping into my true self, which is beautiful. This is meant to do again and again. Krista Kokot says, I hired you to help with my bank account, and we ended up doing inner child work, which I was not expecting. Best investment I ever did was work with you. Wow. I mean, there's so many more. Loved it. Still mentally chewing on the info. Made changing my money story my New Year's resolution and believing that it's possible because of the workbook, Tiffany. Thank you. Thank you. And that's from Jax. I could keep reading, but you get the point. Well, this last one, Erica says, this training is so excellent. It absolutely shifted me to my most concrete and actionable ideas yet. I watched the individual coaching parts multiple times. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay. This is not just some like slap together situation for you. This is your move. Swipe up, links in there. The $200 off flash sale for the first 50 people is automatically applied at checkout. So you don't have to remember a code or anything. So back to psychologically what's going on, right? So you're on drugs, I would say first 2 weeks of January. I'm including myself, all right? I just have gotten better at managing it over the years, but that doesn't mean I'm a human being. Obviously, I took a hiatus, but that was planned and not planned. I had to because I did start going into the spirals and I was like, oh, we need to regroup this shit. There's some stuff here for me to look at. So then the wheels start falling off the bus, which is kind of sad because there's not much explanation behind it. January 12th is actually officially National Quitters Day because 85% of people quit on their New Year's goals, intentions, resolutions by that day. The wheels fall off the bus because the dopamine, the high is gone, right? Like you're not seeing those instant results and you were only relying on self-will and hope and wishing and trying and doing, and that's not going to cut it because all of your other isms, all of your other things, your behaviors, your thoughts, your habits that have accumulated over a lifetime, those have not been worked on. So why would you be able to build a new house on a shitty foundation? Why would you be able to put up new walls and repaint and get new furniture when you have a mold problem and expect the mold to go away? Right? It might look cute for a while. Okay. And then all of a sudden you're going to start seeing mold and the things start happening that you don't want to have happen. It's like you can't cheat out of it. And because you were on drugs, you're not thinking clearly. You get this temporary amnesia, thinking that you can do things differently simply because you've intended to, simply because you're telling yourself that you will, simply because you are hyping yourself up. But really, nothing else has been done to address all those underlined, ingrained habits of yours and behaviors of yours. So you end up in the same space. So then you don't get the results that you want as fast, or things feel harder than they are, or you start getting whacked. Like maybe you put together all these posts and then you're getting like no views and you feel like you're shadow banned, or you end up put out an offer for your business of some sort and then like almost no one wants it, or no one wants it. And it's like, oh, well, that doesn't feel good. Maybe you are working out and eating better, but then you end up getting sick, right? And it's like, oh, just when I felt like I was making progress, now I'm going so far back. I know you're going, oh my God. If you're watching on ProjectME TV here on YouTube, drop in the comments. I love when you guys comment in real time. It also helps you stay more engaged, which is proven to have the information and even the energy exchange that we have here sink in further. I know you're nodding your head because I've done this for a long time. So now you're in this stage of, it's frustration. It doesn't feel good. It can spin out in disappointment. It can spin out in hopelessness. It can spin out into why me. It can spin out into comparing. It can spin out into imposter syndrome, where then you start looking at other people who have what you want in some area of your life. And it seems like it's happening so much easier for them. And everything they touch turns to gold. And it's simple for them. And for you, you're getting pushback, whether it's from technology, whether it's from getting sick, whether it's from an unexpected drama in your life, something happens with a job. And the reason why this is happening is actually happening for you. It's happening to wake you up with pain, because that's what wakes us up, right? When we're content or maybe a little uncomfortable, because a lot of us have a high comfortability and tolerance for discomfort. You need to have pain in there to go, oh my God, push you to do something different. Pain propels you into action because you don't want to feel that anymore, right? It's like if you, I got this new curling iron because, I somehow think I'm going to start doing my own hair, which really doesn't happen. And woo, I touched a spot with my finger and man, that burned. I felt like it burned the skin off because I was awkward holding this curling iron. And I also didn't wear, it came with like a glove to wear. And of course I didn't wear the glove because I'm an asshole. And I was like, ooh, I'm not doing that again. I guess that's why it comes with a glove. And that's what's happening right now. And you're like, but Tiffany, these were unexpected things that happened in my family that even happened in my job, or a client didn't pay you. Like this isn't anything like I did. I didn't touch the curling iron. I didn't avoid wearing the glove, whatever it is. it is still happening for you. It's waking you up to go, wait a second. Self-will and me telling myself, I'm going to try, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to do things differently this time. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to work anymore for me to truly make the money I want to make, to have the freedom and the time I want and the legacy I want, for me to feel good in my body and my nervous system, for me to have a transformed, solid relationship with money. It's not self-will. It's not going to happen. So I want you to hear this. Like, that was all to wake you up. And that's okay. So now we're going to do something different. You're like, what am I supposed to do different? It can't be as simple as you now being in the cycle of, okay, like I'm kind of knocked down. I'm going to regroup and come up again. I mean, that's great, but that's not enough. You've done that cycle probably for years in a lot of different areas of your life. What you need to do is set things up differently. Contrary actions will get you contrary results. We have got to start going to the root, the areas that you've been avoiding addressing. A lot of you are avoiding the deeper inner work, which is what is blocking your abundance, which is what I cover in my money course, Make More Work Less. That's where we go. Some of you have bought this and have not done it. It's just sitting there. And what we avoid will continue to show up in our lives in different areas. And I'm calling myself out here, and why I believe I ended up in a bit of a spiral, right? And I could sit here and go, oh my God, it's all external. It's all happening to me. Well, that's very victim-y. And that's okay if you're there initially for a day or two. But I went, wait a second. There's too much going on. What's happening here? And you guys know my ass takes action. I have 3 coaches and a therapist. I show up regardless. Like, I am in integrity about all that stuff. But something in this area of my life, like for me, what I teach when it comes to making fuck you money, where you don't have to depend on any person, place, thing, or job or institution for money ever again. All right. That's what we're after. It's the most empowering thing you can do for yourself, for your children, for society, for family, for your community, for even your race, your gender, whatever you identify as, right? Like, you don't like what's going on in the world right now because this is a shit show. What's happening? You want to know something you can do is be self-empowered and abundantly empowered. It is what it is. You've got cash. Sure, that does not mean that that equals happiness. It doesn't. That's true. That's not enough. But as someone who's been broke, semi-broke, okay, pretty good, flush, and then rich, it's way better to be rich. You get options. I can get concierge medicine. I can dial up a doctor. I can have a home doctor visit, right? Because I have the money to. I can have my green juice delivered every day if I don't want to cook. I can have chef prepared meals, which I'm going to start doing again. I can have people help me with things. I can build more safe houses for women and children who've been sex trafficked. I can invest in companies that I really feel are doing progressive, great things in the world. There's a lot of stuff you can do with that. That's my specialty, right? That's why you guys listen. Well, I'm sure there's more than one reason. I'm curious why you guys do listen to me. Sometimes I'm like, would I listen to me? And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, I would. But if I'm sick of my own voice, I'm like, I can't do it. God, sometimes this voice of mine. And then I have to laugh. This is the voice that I was bullied over my entire life and adult life. And people still make comments. And then I laugh because I'm making millions of dollars off my voice today. This unique tone in my voice that makes me cringe sometimes, especially if I'm tired. There's sometimes, man, there's a shrill of my mom in there. Ooh, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that feeling. I have body stuff, okay, that I've been truly having therapy, counseling, healing work on my entire life. It's understandable when you know my story. And I go deeper into my story for the first time ever right inside this course. The shit's deep. And we do some body work in this course because that's where our wounding and trauma is ultimately stored. Most of you guys have done enough talking. Most of you guys have actually done enough learning, absorbing information, which is why anything you take from me, whether it's a self-paced course, whether it's my signature program, Selling with Soul, whether it's my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership, whether it's working with me privately, whether it's my mastermind, whether it's a book, whatever it is, I always give you actions because it tricks our brain. We think, oh, I'll learn more. I'll read another book. I'll do this. And I'm not saying that's not important. But if you're not implementing that information consistently, you ain't going to get where you want to go. And not on my watch, honey, because I want this for you. I probably want it for you sometimes more than you want it for yourself, but we all need that in our life sometimes. And I know that, like, why am I fucking crying? I know that many of you never had that. And you might not have that right now because you got into some shit relationship or you just got out of one or your family's dysfunctional or no one really understands your mind because you have such a unique, creative, expansive mind and you want to do so much in the world and people look at you even in your own life and they're like, you should just be grateful for what you have. You've done enough. Don't you just want to travel? Don't you just want to be with the kids? Blah, 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 blah. Like, isn't being a mother or a father rewarding enough? Fuck you. Maybe for them. Maybe for them. I know how lonely it can be when you desire more. You were chosen. It's okay that there's a lot of society, in fact, a majority, that they are okay with what their basic ass life. And I'm not knocking it. They're okay with it. Just like there's people who didn't have a big pull to have kids. Like me, I didn't have a big pull. I'm rich Auntie Tiff. That's fine. Genuinely. That's fine with me. And then there's other people, friends of mine, where they ached to have children. That's beautiful. There's people who are totally fine having their jobby job, not even looking to climb some corporate ladder. It's like jobby job and family and waiting till Friday when they get the paycheck. And that's their life. And they look forward to that one vacation they get to take a year that they save for, and they hunt forever to find a deal. I've met many of these people who are very happy. I've met many of them who are also miserable. That's where we don't want to be in that land. That's in purgatory, where you're not happy with where you're at, but you're also not taking action to where you want to go. Oh, we can't. This is not approved by me. That is the most soul-sucking thing you can do. And then there are those of you, which I know are you listening to this show or you wouldn't be attracted to me, where you're meant for more. There's more to do, whether you've accomplished a ton or you feel like you haven't accomplished much, whether you're just starting a business, whether you're far into it. It doesn't matter. I knew, even though I have another business that specializes in digital marketing and branding in the medical, pharmaceutical, health supplement world, it's an 8-figure business. But I always knew I was supposed to do this, what I'm doing with you right now. Always knew it. But I lived in purgatory about it for 10 years. So it doesn't matter where you're at. And a lot of people said to me, why would you start another business, Tiffany? You already have this and you already have stress from that, but you're also making a lot of money at it. Why don't you enjoy the fruits of your labor and what you've built? It really made other people uncomfortable. And one of the people was a mentor of mine. And you have to also consider the source, because the mentor of mine who said this is someone who is almost 80 now and is super, super wealthy. I mean, well over 100 million net worth at this point, but doesn't understand the emotional IQ, the deeper calling of why I have to do this, and how amazingly, quite frankly, simple and easy in comparison it is to make a damn fortune online. And I say easy in comparison because that doesn't mean it's quick, like it happens in a week, but it is much faster than the traditional way of building a business. I can, for a fact, promise you that to where it's laughable. It's laughable when you're being guided and you know what the fuck you're doing and you're doing something that you are infatuated with, that you are, I don't mind saying the word obsessed with. I am obsessed with giving you the tools and empowering you to be financially free, financially abundant, and what that does for you and your life and the people around you and generations to come. I feel like I went off on some tangent. I probably did. That's fine. You're familiar with us here. So back to my spiraling was in the area of my body. And I started getting triggered by people. I started feeling all of this pressure. I just had a lot of stuff coming up around that. And it was really robbing me of my serenity. It was making me irritable. It was making me resentful. I did not like how I was feeling. I did feel very victim-y vibes, not a fan. And I was like, okay, this pain and discomfort is coming up this loud because there's something I need to look at. And I don't necessarily know what it is. And it might not even be related to my body. It's not always related to the thing you think it is. And I know that. And I was like, all right, I need to give myself some space and some time. And even though that could look like, I don't want to pull back the arrow, Tiffany. I need to make money. I need to feel better. I need to work on this. I need to do this. Like blah, 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 blah. Like I promise you, sometimes the very thing you need to do is pull back the arrow where you're spending more money than you're making. You are not showing up when you know showing up is important, where you're getting quiet versus talking, where you have had to tell people in your life, hey, I need to go into a healing cocoon for a couple weeks and I'm not going to be available for things, where you need to like literally sequester yourself. I promise you, pulling back that arrow is what's going to make you fly. Because what happened is you told the universe, God, angels, aliens, spirits, whatever your thing is. I have a full fucking committee up there. All right. Everyone's there. You made it clear to your spiritual committee and yourself what you wanted, what you want to call into your life. And then what happened is you got heard and said, okay, you want to call this in, but we got a lot of gunk in the way. We got a lot of stuff clogging your abundance pipes. And this has to be cleaned out in order for you to manifest what you say you want to manifest in your reality, in order to have that happen in a less painful way, in a joyful way, in a faster way, in a simple way, in an easier way. We've got to, in order to get that flowing, we've got to clear out the sludge. There's some shit in here, some old shit that you kind of knew was there, or maybe you didn't know at all. Or maybe you had amnesia and you forgot. I knew it was there. I have some stuff that I need to work on when it comes to body stuff that goes back to my trauma. And even though I've done so much work on it, I have some reprogramming to do. And I needed to really take a look at that and create an actual action plan that was realistic and that I was going to follow in order to regroup. And I was scared to take a hiatus from the show for 2 weeks. I mean, granted, on YouTube, we use this time to share never before seen video interviews of some of my favorite people. So if you've not gone over and subscribed to ProjectME TV on YouTube, you need to subscribe and go watch these videos. They're incredible and they're perfectly timed. Yeah, and I was afraid. I was like, "Ah, take my foot off the gas. I don't know if I can do that." Well, if you're avoiding getting quiet, if you're avoiding doing the deeper work, if you're avoiding doing the make more work less, this money transformation stuff, you're avoiding looking at that gunk that's clogging those pipes, and you're going to continue to experience pain and symptoms as a result of avoiding it until you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of your status. And no one can make you sick and tired enough. You've got to get to that point yourself where you don't like the symptoms. You don't like how hard things are. You don't like that you go 3 steps forward, 5 steps back. You don't like seeing other people that you who are in your industry, who you know are like low key, you know that you have the same talent as them and skill set, or maybe even more, and they're flourishing. You don't like that feeling. You don't like the feeling of sometimes you've got money, sometimes you don't. You don't like that you have a great following and community and you're not really making much money off it. I coach a lot of people in this space who come to me that actually have like a nice community, and it's not even size. I mean, I coach people who have 2.5 million followers and they're literally making maybe $4,000 a month and they're sitting on a gold mine. Right. And then it has to do, we've got to work on that money gunk, right? It's like money and strategy combined. We've got to do both. Doing something special for you guys to get you kickstarted out of this, out of this loop that you're in. And it is definitely for those of you who currently monetize based off of your content or who want to. So if you're in that part of, I don't know where to start. I know I want a brand or I have a brand. I know I want my content, whether it's email, whether it's videos, whether it's posts, whatever. I want my content to be making money for me around the clock. Your content should be little salespeople, all selling for you while you're doing other things. I have my content made easy course bundle that I am going to gift you for writing a review of this podcast. Yes, 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 yes. This is priced normally at $477. This is for an extremely limited time. Here's all you have to do. You need to make sure you're subscribed to the show, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, and you need to do a written review. Right now, the only place you can do a written review is on Apple. But if you are a Spotify listener and you don't have an Apple device, you can do a shout out of the show and share that with me, and I will honor that. All right. So I need you to, one, make sure you're following or subscribe to the show. I need you to, secondly, write a written review of the show, an Apple Podcast review. Put your name or Instagram handle in the review or TikTok handle so that we can cross-reference. And the third thing is that all you've got to do is email it to us. So take a screenshot of it and email it to us at support@projectmewithtiffany.com. The instructions are in the description here on YouTube and they're in the show notes for this episode. So all you have to do is swipe up and you'll see them. That's all you have to do. And then we will send you the Content Made Easy course bundle, which also includes my profitable content planner and fill in the blank caption template. Yes, like you want this vibe. And like I said, it's free as long as you do that. So it's a special giveaway. I'm not limiting the number of people. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be offering this for in terms of a date. I'm thinking it's just going to be to the end of January. So you'll easily forget if you tell yourself to do it later. I just do it now. All right. So what are we going to do to move from here, to move out of this spiral land? Because wishing our way out of it, telling ourselves we're going to regroup, having even taking some time off or taking a weekend to like rest and play. Well, that's beautiful. That's also not going to cut it. That's putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, as some people say. it can help for a little while, and then it's just going to come back because our buried beliefs, our habits, all of this stuff, it's like a fungus, it's like a mold. You can clean it out, but if you don't do like a full gutting of it, it's going to come back. And that's more costly than anything. That's costing you more time, more money, more pain, more stress, more mental anguish, which then affects you physically, which then affects you monetarily, which then affects your relationships. Or you can say, fuck it. I'm going to take different action. I'm going to do Tiff's money course, make more work less. Like, I'm going to start there. I'm going to write the damn review and get her content creation made easy. If that is something you are wanting in your life, in your business, to be able to monetize your intellectual property skills and talents by way of using content online, which, by the way, Forbes just announced, I don't have those stats pulled up, but Forbes just announced that it is, I believe, in the top spot or the top two spots of profitable skills to have in 2024. The most high paying and profitable are content creation. And it's not about shit looking pretty. Okay. And it's not about that. So before you go down that path of I need a graphic designer and I'm not great at technology. No. That's also why I've made this for free for you. So even if you have an interest in it and want to see if it's for you, it's free to explore it. And don't you at least owe yourself that? So what are we going to do to get out of this self-sabotaging pattern of getting into this spot of where you are hopeful, where you're in dreamlike state, then you do some things, then you get sidewhacked or you don't end up with the results that you want. And then you start taking your foot off the gas and then you start doubting yourself and then you end up in Stuckland, USA. We need to break this pattern. We need to go to the root of where this pattern originates. And I can guarantee you, without a doubt, every fucking person listening right now, I feel like I'm swearing a lot in this episode. I'm not sure why, although we know I like a good swear. I think it's because I'm so emphatic about wanting this for you and so that you can hear me. And then I use those words to like hopefully make that point. It's the belief that the outcome and the thing that you desire is possible for you without you sacrificing stuff you don't want to sacrifice. If you knew without a doubt and 100% certainty that you could end up feeling, fly in your body and light and sexy and whatever you want to feel, and you needed to just keep the course and follow the and do these things and pay the coach and just keep doing it. And you knew it would without a doubt work. And it didn't feel like soul sacrificing to you, right? Like, it's not like be like someone telling me to do sprints and burpees every day. That shit ain't going to happen. Right. Then you would keep doing it. You knew without a doubt, 100% certainty, that if you follow my methodology and you keep showing up and you set yourself up so that you have support when you start spiraling, because let's normalize it. It's inevitable. Meltdowns are part of the journey. This is called the law of polarity in the manifestation principles. You have to have both sides. It's not going to be all roses. It's not going to be all green lights. It's not going to be all cash all the time. We've got to have the shadow side too. And that's why you need support during that time. So, number one, I want you to check in with your belief today. What is your genuine conviction of the goals that you've set out for in 2024? That those are genuinely possible for you without sacrificing something that sounds miserable to you. And if you go, I don't think that is possible, I'm not 100% on that, I need you to dig in on that. Why don't you think that's possible for you? What are you believing you're going to have to exchange, you're going to have to trade in order to have the life you want, in order to have the things that you want in your life. And I need you to take an inventory on, is that really true? Where does this come from? And start unpacking that and take the time to get quiet. Otherwise, you're going to keep working against it. Second thing is, we've got to get into action and really look at, what can I do that's going to set me up to do things differently? That when I start going into the spiral thing that I do, whatever your thing is, right? Beating yourself up, getting in comparisonitis, procrastination, ending up saying you're stuck, going into victim speak. Be honest with yourself without being mean to yourself of where you end up and what can I do to make sure that I'm supported when I go to these places again, because you are going to go to these spots again. You've been going to them for years. It's not all of a sudden going to change because you've willed it. This is truly why I always have support. This is part of why my Posse business coaching membership exists in this community, so that it is an easily affordable way to not only access the strategy, but access high quality support from myself and other people. But really, what is it you need to do to set it up for yourself? And it can't just be self-will. You've got to change some of your daily practices. You've got to reprioritize some things. You can't be squeezing this in like a puzzle piece that's from a different puzzle set, and you're trying to squeeze it in to fit. You're going to expend so much time, energy, and money doing that. And it ultimately is never going to look good. It's never going to ultimately scratch the itch. It's not going to feel good. It's always going to be janky, and it's not going to work. Instead, I want you to look at, what can I move in terms of priorities? How can I change time in my day? Where do I need more help? How can I leverage to get more time and energy back? Where can I invest money? Do I need to go and get a loan, a business loan, which are, by the way, been happening for many decades and very normal? Do I need to get a business loan so I can invest in high quality support and coaching and help, or getting an employee, or hiring a VA, or having someone help me with these things? What is it that I can do that is so wildly different than before, that might even feel super scary, but I'm putting so much on the line that I don't really have a choice but to show up? You know, and I'll end with this. Something that I am more open to than ever. I've always avoided getting like an intuitive eating coach, healing, like food healing therapists or coaches. Like, I've avoided that. I created a story that they're just going to make me food journal and boil chicken and broccoli and weigh my food, and a whole, like, I made this up. This is not facts. That's not even the definition of what someone who is credentialed in intuitive eating does. And you might be listening. It might be a thing that you do. But I'm open to new modalities and new ways. If I'm saying what I want is to drastically improve my relationship as it comes to my body. This could be money for you. This could be relationships for you, whatever it is. If I genuinely really want that, what am I willing to do that is so different that I've not done before? Because if I've done all the other things before and I'm in this spot, it may have given me some progress, right? But it's not going to get me to where I want to go. It's time to explore other avenues and at least start by being open to it. And when you're open to it, it's interesting what the universe will do. It'll start putting people in your life. You'll start coming across different pieces of content. It'll come in whispers. Sometimes it comes, I got a mailer, like an actual piece of mail, which I like mail. I kind of miss getting mail. I love when my clients and stuff send me actual mail. I like getting even like these PR gifts from companies because it's mail. It's fun. Who doesn't love an unboxing? Anyway, But I saw a message. I should have brought it over here. It was at the other house so I could show it to you. And it was like one of those like mailer cards. But what was on the cover was something like, it's not about what you eat, it's about what you think about what you eat. And it's not like I was going to hire this person. It was some like company with supplements that I wouldn't buy. But the message that was on there definitely got me thinking. It was something I needed to hear, and the universe sent that. Maybe you heard something in this particular episode today that you were supposed to hear, or an email of mine, or a piece of content, or even you watching TV and you hear someone. So you put it out there, because the next step will become very clear as long as you're clearing out the noise and you're allowing time and space to be still and quiet, which I know is so uncomfortable for so many of you. And that's why hundreds and hundreds of people feel more clear than ever after doing Make More, Work Less, because they took that time to go inside into a place that they've really avoided deeply exploring, because it sounds scary, it sounds boring, it sounds, I don't know, uncomfortable. But what's on the other side is that beautiful feeling of lightness and clarity and focus and empowerment and calm and acceptance. It's so beautiful. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make more work less. All the links are in the show notes and also in the description on YouTube, plus just the 3 simple steps for my $477 content creation made easy course bundle giveaway. Again, this is a limited time. Don't procrastinate on this. And I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.